All right, guys, today we're going to be talking a little bit about the Baofeng radios, how they work, how to use them, how to set a channel, and kind of some of the memory modes that are on there, or the menu modes that are on there. So let's kind of start out with our basic modes on each one of them, kind of what all the buttons do and what they're for here. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and turn on the radio. So both of the radios that are kind of real popular right now are the UV5 something, so XPA, whatever that is. They're all pretty much basically the same, and the UV 82s, which are real popular right now too. Both of them, turn them on. They both have the turn on top. That's how they work. It's pretty simple. Now, there's a couple differences in these two radios we'll get to in a second. We'll go ahead and pull this one out of the way so we can go ahead and work with this guy. What we're going to do here is we have our VM button. Now, our VM button, just like it's going to say when we hit the button,
channel mode.
It puts us in channel mode, okay? Now, if we want to get out of channel mode, so we actually want to program anything, we have to be in frequency mode. So we hit the VM button, and you'll see there's no channels on that side, okay? Then we have the AB button. This takes, and I'm going to try to point to it. Right here, you'll see there's a little triangle, and that triangle tells which channel you're transmitting on. So if I hit the AB button, right here, the little blue button here, that switches me down, so I'm transmitting now on the 400 network. So kind of allows you to kind of hard to see there on the bottom. We'll kind of always work with this top one so you guys can see. But there's another triangle that it switched the triangle from the top to the bottom. Kind of lets you know where you're at, okay? So from there, we'll switch it back up to the top. You're going to see some other things as we go through. The next button over here is going to be the band button, this guy right here. That band button allows you to hit that, and that switches you from the 2-meter network to the 440 network. So kind of keep that in mind. Then we have our menu button. Again, puts you in menu, takes you out of menu, and then the exit button will pull you back out of menu, okay? One other button that's kind of really important that you'll want to know is the star button, and it is both the star on most of the radios out there, that if you hit the star, sometimes it's in a different spot, but the star will start a scan.
Scanning begin.
And it will, if it hits something that you can actually listen on or somebody's talking on, it will stop for a second. It will keep going unless you actually hit your PPT button, okay? So, which is the button on the side here in a second. So that kind of lets you scan. If you want to start the scan again, go ahead and start it again. If you want to stop the scan, you can either hit your scanning button, and that will stop it, or you can hit your PTT button on the side, which is this guy here. Okay, that kind of goes over some of the main menu settings here. Now, what's on the side here? You have a couple different buttons. The PTB button, which is in the middle on this particular radio, that's the button you're going to hold down to talk. So as we hit it here, we'll see that the lights come on saying that it's ready to talk. If we hit the call button on the side and we hold it down, it makes an obnoxious noise, which we don't want to do. But I'm going to go ahead and hit it so we turn on the radio section of this guy. So if I hit it, and it has the alarm, or if I just hit it once, it turns on the FM radio. And by hitting the up and down arrows, you can set it to whatever you want to set it to as far as station-wise. So this is your regular FM radio that you'd have anywhere, okay? So again, hold down the button, makes all kinds of, it's kind of like the rape whistle of radios. Then on the bottom button here, okay, it will say mono and some, couple different things on different others. You're going to go ahead, you take that guy, you hit it, your flashlight comes up on top, hit it again, flashlight flashes on top. One last time it goes out, okay? Now, when we get into the UV82, this guy over here, there's a couple differences here. One, if we want, now that we're in you know, the mode here, let me hit the button here so you guys can kind of see that. You can see the numbers off to the side, which means we're in channel mode. If we want to get to away from channel mode, we actually have to turn the radio off. This is one of the features I do not like on this radio. I turn the radio off. I hold down the menu button here. Hold it down, turn the radio back on.
Frequency mode.
And it goes to frequency mode. Okay. Now, there is no A-B button on the front here. The way you switched from A-B is there is actually two PTT buttons, an A and a B. Okay. So if you want to talk on the A network, you hit the A button. If you want to talk on the lower one, hit the lower. Real simple. Up, down, okay? Makes it real simple in that particular terms on how to use this guy if you're going to use that. That's really the only difference we're going to deal with on this particular radio because it's a little easier to program. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the Baofeng. We're going to go through some of the settings, okay? So we're going to show you guys all the different settings this guy has and how to reset them, things like that. We're going to go ahead, we're going to start from the very beginning. We're going to go ahead and turn the radio on.
Frequency mode.
We want to make sure we're in frequency mode. And we always want to make sure any changes we're going to have happen are in the A. So instead of it being down on the bottom, we want it to hit the AB button or the AB button on the side here and make sure we're in that top of your top row being the A setting. Once we do that, then we can go into the memory stations here, or the mode, which is not your memory, but your menu stations.
Menu.
So we go ahead and hit menu. Your first one is squelch. This is an important one. If you get your radio and you're sitting there playing with it, and all of a sudden there is all kinds of little clicks and clacks and squirts and all day long on you, this is where you're going to take care of that.
Menu.
So if you hit the menu button, it goes right to 0, which is squelch. Hit menu again. And now you can use the up and down arrows to adjust your squelch. I recommend starting out at a 3. This gives anybody with a handheld, sometimes you don't get the best communication, but allows people through. If you turn it all the way up, let's say we come over here to...
Menu.
Oops, sorry about that. Let's go back down, hit it again. And we go into, and we turn it all the way up to 9. Almost nothing will get through. So sometimes we'll lose even, unless you're having somebody that is talking in a perfect signal, that won't come through. So go ahead and hit menu. And if you want to set it, you hit menu. Set it to whatever you want. Set it to 5 is kind of usually the highest I ever put it at. I like 3 because of where we're at.
Confirm.
And go ahead and confirm it down. Okay, so you want to hit the menu button again. That confirms it. Now, if that's all you wanted to do, hit the exit button, and that takes you back out. So that'll take you back out to your main screen, whatever, either that's your frequency or your regular stations there. Okay, so let's go back to the menu. Reset all. This is channel 40. I want to show you guys this first. Do not use this one. This is really bad. Okay, so this will say reset all on it, and this will be this will ruin your life in a hurry. That's for sure. Okay, so don't do anything with this guy to change the reset all button, and that's 40. So go ahead and hit the up arrows and go to number 2. I keep this one. It doesn't really matter. Your step is kind of just how your scanning works, so I don't even really mess with this one. I go to my TPX button, and this is where you adjust your power. So sometimes it will say wide. I usually like to see it on high. So this particular one has 3 different settings because it is an 8-watt radio. It will do medium, low, and high. I want to set it on high. So I leave it on high. I go ahead and hit the button, and it confirms it. It basically says that's where I want it to be. Okay? That's really important that we leave them on high. I tell everybody 5 watts is basically the minimum to communicate with anybody. So just go ahead and leave it on high.
Menu.
And this will tell you if you only have one that says high and low, that means you have a 5-watt radio. If you have high, medium, low, usually that's an 8-watt radio. So just kind of thinking about that if you're checking to see if you didn't get gypped on eBay or Amazon or whatever it would be, that'd be the easiest way to check. Go ahead and hit your menu button again. So we're going to go to station 3 is saved. Just leave it on 3. Vox, just leave it on Vox. Leave this one on wide. This is number 5. Just leave it on wide. Wide usually works best for most things. When we get to 6, leave it on 5. This is one I always recommend you turn on. So this will usually come from your factory as off. Go ahead and This gives you the ability to be able to hear on both the stations you have on the screen. So this is where you turn that off if you wanted to. Meaning if I turn it off and I hit the exit button, now only the station I have the triangle on can I hear. If I hit the button again and I go dual standby and I actually turn it on, and I confirm it, and I come back out, meaning both these stations, if somebody was talking on both of those, I'll be able to hear them on both stations. Now, this is really useful, in my opinion, if you have, like, maybe you're out playing softball, airsoft or paintball or whatever it is, you're out backpacking, and you have a repeater that's way out in the distance that you're just kind of communicating with. So you leave that one on the bottom, and you have the station you're communicating with all your friends on the very top. If somebody popped onto the repeater, maybe it's your wife telling you, hey, it's time to come home, whatever that is, you would go ahead and be able to still hear it on both. Now, it's kind of confusing. You set it there. You'll notice you'll be able to hear it both stations. Now, what will end up happening is you're only able to transmit on one, which is the top one. If you transmit on the bottom one, if you get somebody transmitting on the bottom one, the only way for you to transmit on there is to hit the AB button again, go down, and actually transmit on that one if you want to. Now, if they're transmitting, you will see the triangle flash. Okay, and that's really important. That will allow you to be able to see it flash. So, again, I leave that guy on so I can hear both stations that are on the screen at the time. So, if you want that off, turn it off. Okay, number 6. Oh, whoops, sorry, going the wrong direction. So, sorry, guys. I'm getting a phone call on my phone here. Forgot to put it on airplane mode. So we want to make sure here. So we go ahead and hit menu again. The next one is number 8, which is beep. This is our beep setting for, this is what makes it make the beep noise. Okay, that little beep you're hearing there. You can turn it on and off, okay? I usually leave it on because I like being able to hear it when I'm flipping through in case I bump the button by accident. On 9, I leave it alone. Number 10, leave it alone, leave it on off. The receive CTCS, I leave it off if we're going to do simplex codes. We'll talk about setting up a repeater here in a second. So that's where you'll go into set your receive. Again, the T, number 12, leave off. Number 13, you're going to use if you're going to set a repeater privacy code or transmit code. Voice. This is something you'll sometimes get a lot of this is on number 14. A lot of times you'll get this when you're doing it, and it will actually change from Chinese if you're on the Chinese one. You'll also get it off if you don't want to have any voice at all, or English if you have it. A lot of times the radios come in Chinese, so because they are a Chinese radio. So again, next we're going to go to 15. I just leave that on what it is, which right now it's the 80808. Number 16, again, leave it where it is. 17, leave it where it is. The 18, same thing. 19, 20, 21. Now, this is where we run into, so 21 is one that actually talks about how your screen reads. So what your screen shows on it. So if we have this radio right here, so if I'm on channel mode, I could set the top to be reading the frequency, and the bottom I could set to read the just a voice. I mean, if I have a name or something like that for that particular channel. If you're going to set that in anything besides either menu. So if you wanted to set it between frequency, hit it again. You have the ability to do channel only, so it would just show the channel. It will show the name if you have names programmed into the radio. Or frequency, which is where I usually like to leave it. I just leave it on frequency because it always gives the number on the side and the frequency in the middle, which if you have a friend going, hey, what frequency are you on? It's kind of easy. If you put names in there, all you'll see is the name.
Menu.
Okay, so that's on frequency. We're going to go to 20, leave everything else off. This also gives you on station B is 22. So if you want, you can set 1 to names, 1 to frequency, you can. So
Menu.
again, that's 22. And then if we go to 23, leave it off. 24, leave it off. 25, this is where we'll set
Frequency direct.
our direction. So whether that is plus, minus, or off, just go ahead and leave it off for right now. 26 is our offset. This is dealing with repeaters. So we're going to talk about this in a second when we talk about how to set a channel in here. Let's see. I don't know if this thing's focusing or not. There we go. Okay, so what we got here, guys, is we're going to go ahead and
Menu.
26 sets our offset amount. 27 is setting the channel itself. 28 is deleting a channel, which is a really important one, guys. You need to make sure you do that. And the next 3 for 29, 30, and 31 are the colors of the different screens. So if you want it to be orange, purple, blue, whatever that is. So basically what you'll end up with on that one. Mess with those all you want. You can change the colors, whatever you want. Band is literally where the band is. So right now it's set to UHF, which is what band we're on.
Band selection.
You can adjust that to, just adjust it to VHF and UHF. Not a real huge deal.
Confirm.
Again, 33, 34, leave off. Site, leave on. All of everything else until you get up to 40, just leave the way they are. 40 again is reset all. This is only if you've decided you have to reset the whole entire radio. Sometimes this happens if you have a major failure in your programming to reset it. Don't do it unless you absolutely have to, okay? So we'll kind of go over those. So we have 0 is your squelch. Set that to whatever is comfortable for you to get rid of those noise that's on the stations. 2 is high. 7 is on. 8 is on. And 11 is set to whatever your offset, your privacy code is. So right now we're going to be setting it for 123. 14 is English. 25 will be plus for this particular one we're doing. 26 will be the actual offset amount. 27 is setting the actual station. 28 is deleting the station. And then 40 is our bad. Don't mess with 40, okay? All the work we put in right now will ruin your whole life, okay? So right now we have a station we're going to be putting in here. So if we start out, when we turn it on, usually we'll be in channel mode. We're going to go ahead and hit the channel mode, the VM button. So we're going to program a channel now.
Frequency mode.
We're going to have to be in frequency. We also have to make sure we're in A transmit, okay? So make sure you're in A. Then we're going to go ahead and pick the station. We're going to pick, we want to put this on 35, station 35. So we're going to go ahead and type in our code right now, the one we want to do, which is 145.888. It's just a junk station. Doesn't mean anything. This just happens to be one of the stations that I just picked for this particular thing. We're going to go ahead and erase it after we're done. So go ahead and hit 1, 4, 5, 8, 8. Okay. And then it automatically pops up with your little offsets you need on the corner. So don't worry about that. If it says 75 or says 5 or something like that, that's not as important. So now that we have the channel selected,
Menu.
okay, we're going to go into our menu options here. The first one we're going to want to go to is if we were just setting the station the way it was, we could go ahead and do one of two things. So we'll set the station just the way it is right now as Simplex. I don't have anything else. I don't want privacy codes. Don't want anything else. This is how I do it. Go ahead and type in my station, hit menu, go to 28, hit menu
Delete
again.
channel.
we're going to delete 35 because we want to get rid of anything that's there. Because if we try to put a channel on top of a channel, it gives you an offset. So don't do that. Go ahead and hit there. We confirmed that we want to get rid of it. I'm going to go ahead, then we're going to go ahead and go to 27. 27 is your channel mode. Hopefully you guys can see this. I know that's kind of hard on the screen here. Let's see if I can get it out of the light here. So we're going to go ahead and hit the menu again. We're going to go ahead and go to 27. If we take 27, we're going to hit the menu button.
Memory channel.
We're going to go ahead and put it in 35. Okay. Hit the menu button again.
Receiving
And then we hit the exit. And this will automatically take us now into, it'll already have programmed our menu. The way we check it is go ahead and hit the VM button again.
channel mode.
Takes us to channel mode. It's going to show our channel across there with no offsets, no CTs, no nothing. So, okay. So that's if you're just doing standard. I'm trying to talk to my friend next door, whatever that is. Now let's go ahead and program one for doing the same thing, but we're going to program it for a repeater. So this is if you're trying to hit a repeater, and that repeater is going to repeat out your code. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and hit the VM button again.
Frequency mode.
Takes us into frequency. Make sure we're on A phase. Going to go ahead and hit the menu. We're going to go to 28 because we want to get rid of the channel. Hit 35. We're going to get rid of the channel. Okay. Now that we've deleted it, now we can go ahead and set it. So now we're going to go to 11. This is our receive privacy code or receive key. Or PL code. Some people will call them PL codes. I'm going to go ahead and set this to this particular one is going to be 123. So I'm going to go ahead and keep going until I hit 123. 123, go ahead and hit the confirm button. Now I'm going to go to 13, and you can use the arrows if you want to. I'm going to hit the menu button. Right now it says off. I'm going to go ahead and scroll up to where it says 123. Whoops, 123. Going to go ahead and hit confirm. Then we're going to go to 25. This is our offset direction. Frequency direction. So where is it going to go? Is it going to go up or is it going to go down? This particular one is a plus. So we have the options of plus, minus, and off. We're going to set it to plus. Going to go ahead and hit our menu button. Confirm it. Okay. You'll see the plus now pop up on top here. And once we've done that, we're going to go ahead and hit the menu button again. We're going to go ahead and go in and actually set it to now how the amount of offset. So it's going to menu. We're going to go to 26. Right now it's all set to zeros. We're going to go ahead and hit the menu. This happens to be a 00.600. So we basically need 5 things. We need the channel that we're actually going to, what we want to set it to. We want to have our direction or our key or our PL codes to get inside. So 123 is our PL on this one. The offset direction and the amount of direction to be able to set up a repeater. Okay. Once we've got that set, we're going to go ahead and hit the button again. We're going to go. And this one happens to be 600. So 00600. Okay. We're going to go ahead and hit the menu, confirm it. We're going to go ahead and exit out of it now. Now you will see that as we go into the menu button.
Mode. Frequency mode.
Oh, I forgot one last thing. I got to set the channel. So now you're seeing that we have the S saying we're in dual standby. We have the plus at the top, which is saying we have a positive offset. The H meaning it is a high, where we've set it to high power. And then CT meaning there is a PL or CT code. Going to go ahead and hit the menu one last time. We're going to go to 27. We're going to hit the menu again. We're going to hit 35 because that's where we want to put it. And hit the button. And it will receive it now in there. So if we hit the exit button and we hit the VM,
channel mode.
Now we're in channel mode. We will see that there is an offset a plus and minus offset, a CT code, an H for high power, the S stands for dual standby, and if we hit our PT button, we're going to see the codes change on the screen. So it actually went up to, from what it was right now, which is 145.8888. If I hit the button, now it's going to say 146.488. So as you know, don't have to worry about toning up to anybody because there is no repeater in the area on this particular station. That's why we picked it. So then if we want to get rid of it, we want to make sure we can go back in now and go ahead and erase that code. We want to go in and we have to go back through the whole thing if we want to do another station that is not 1. So we'd have to go back through 11, 13, and reset those to zeros. Okay, so let's go back in here. I'm going to go ahead and do frequency mode.
Menu.
We're going to go ahead and go to 28. We're going to go ahead and delete the channel.
Delete channel.
35. Hit menu again.
Confirm.
And that deletes it. So that will take it out. But here's the problem. I'll tell you right now, it's still in all the different areas.
Delete channel. Confirm.
So if we go over to all the other areas, we'll want to make sure that we go to 11. It's going to have this. We want to go ahead and hit this. Want to make sure we set it to off and hit menu again. And that will kill it off there. You'll have to go back through every channel you're going to change from now on. So if you want to change it to a different channel, you know, if we want to get out of here and we want to go to 146.888.
Menu.
We now need to go in there and erase any of these, you know, CTC codes and make sure there's nothing on there. So let's go to 13. You'll see that it's on there.
CTC.
We go ahead and change that. If we just hit the 0 button, it just hits it to off.
Confirm.
It makes it real easy, so but you can just use the up and down arrows. So hopefully, guys, this was useful. Sorry if you couldn't see it all the time. I'm kind of supporting it off here on a little area here. But, you know, like I said, all the radios are basically the same. Either one of two ways. They either have the buttons on the front or you have to turn on and off the dial by holding down the menu button. You know, that's kind of a pain. But this should be able to get you through. Now, when you're setting up your radio network, I recommend having several different channels that you've set up. And I program them for every single radio I have. That way, if I pick up a radio and I want to communicate with anybody, I say, hey, turn to channel 8. They know they just have to turn to channel 8. They don't have to remember what station that is. So we have like an actual code of all the different stations we use for our group. You can put as many as you want on there. There's all kinds of repeaters out there you guys can use. But as always, guys, have a great day. Please like and share. Tell your friends about this if they bought a new radio. Hopefully this helps them. If it didn't help you and you hate me, feel free to leave a message at the bottom. If you liked the video, leave a message at the bottom. Tell me what you liked. Tell me if you have a question that I didn't answer on here that you really need to know, and I can answer it in the next video. But as always, guys, have a great day. Like and share and leave messages. That's how I keep the ability to be able to do this. You guys have a great day. We'll see you later.